Hey everybody, it's your brother Zen bringing you more messages of love from above. And I'm excited about this video because if you've been following my channel, I've been going through each of the chakras in separate videos, which of course I'll have linked in the description box below. But this video was talking more about just the whole chakras and the kind of the map of the human experience that we go through. With the chakras there. So this is one of the cards from my deck I'm working on with the creator here, but it shows just the journey where we start down here on the root chakra and kind of go all the way up to the crown chakra, which is the violet one up there. And so there's kind of like two paths that as humans we kind of go through simultaneously, and they're kind of unfolding at the same time. The first path is moving from the root chakra, like I mentioned, going all the way over to the crown chakra. And so, just the root chakra is really about how we interact with our tribe. So not just another individual, but like our whole tribe of individuals. And in that experience we have there, that's like the bull. We see our emotion, we see red and we charge. There's like no thinking about it. That's our reaction. And then we move up into the navel, or the orange chakra, which is about our relationship one-on-one with someone. So those are more of our friendships, our intimate relationships, that type of thing. And that is where we begin to see, it's like the sun here on the bottom. It's, we realize we're going through emotions and we see it in a distance. We see the sun rising or the sun setting, and we realize we almost become not detached from our emotions, but we see ourselves separate from our emotions. We see them that's not us, it's something we're feeling, but that's not who we are. Which takes us into the third chakra, which is the solar plexus, the yellow one. And that's where it's about our relationship with ourselves. So tribe, one-on-one, and then with ourselves. And that's where we start to realize our power of choice. And then we move into the heart chakra, which is the green chakra. And also there's pink in there too. It's like the green is the outer shell, protective shell of the heart. And then the higher spiritual heart is actually pink within it. But mainly what we see is the green when on our path coming up to this point. And this is where we experience the energy of the divine, of the creator, where we experience that unconditional love, that's hidden within our heart. So this is the kind of the human experience, and this is where we change and start realizing and remembering who we are, and then we move into our spiritual side, which we then go to the fifth chakra, which is the throat chakra. And this is the aqua blue. And this is where we start allowing that unconditional love to flow out through us. It's how we communicate. And also I talk about in the video for this one is if you hold your arms straight out to your sides, like you kind of almost look like the letter T, then you also see that your arms are also where your throat is. So it's not only just what we speak, but also what we do with our hands. And then we move up into the third eye chakra, which is the indigo blue. And that's where we transform our truths. It's where we connect to back home. We start seeing things, through our third eye from a higher point of view, from a different point of view. And then lastly, for the standard 7 chakras, we move into the crown chakra, which is the violet. And that's where we remember who we really are. We come back to ourselves, our true selves. We come back to the moment, and we realize this master, being inside of us, that powerful, supernatural, eternal spirit being made of unconditional love of who we really are. So we move from this experience of kind of like a caterpillar walking along the jungle floor, just trying to survive another day, eating, consuming, trying to get all that external stuff inside of us, thinking it's going to fill us up, but it's like Chinese food, right? It doesn't satisfy us for long. So we go through that journey and all this transition to where we become and transform into this butterfly, where we've gone through this cocoon and reflection in ourselves, and we end up being able to fly like a butterfly above the jungle and see things from that higher perspective. So that's kind of like that that path of moving from the, I would say, kind of like the valley up into the top of the mountain, it's that kind of transition there. But the other is also a convergence of both sides, where we move from here inward. So the conditional human side, the conditional love, and the unconditional being, the unconditional love, all meeting in the heart. And how perfect is that? The conditional love meets unconditional love in our heart, where we feel our love and our emotions, and where, we experience so much of our adventure here on the earth. So when you look at these together, which I'll pin up here for you, you have in the root chakra, we're seeking love, but we're taught to seek outside of ourselves for it. But the crown chakra is who we really are. And that's the unconditional love. And so we're searching to reconnect with that unconditional love in the root chakra, but the crown chakra is what meets that and makes that whole and fulfilled. And then you move into, the orange and the aqua, which for the orange, that is about, I'm sorry, not aqua, but indigo. So on here, it's about I see. So we're trying to understand and, try to see, because this is about relationships, and we're trying to see who we are in reflection to other people and other people's truths, especially when it's one-on-one. They have specific beliefs and we have different ones, and it's trying to understand, those things. Whereas, again, the third eye chakra allows us to see higher and allows us we're trying to find truths, which is small t truths, but we find the capital T truths, which is what frees us. And then where this is I see, this is I understand, because we start to understand why these actors in this external world, these characters, are acting a certain way for a reason. And, because behind every character we come across, that's just a character, but there's that supernatural actor behind them doing the things they're doing for a purpose and a reason. So this allows us to understand that everything has a purpose, and we get to start seeing those purposes, right? And then, of course, when we get into the solar plexus, so we've got the yellow and the blue, which yellow and blue make green. So that combination is pretty cool that it creates the green. And as I mentioned with the solar plexus, that's about our actions. We begin to act. And as we understand ourselves, we begin to act out of unconditional love, which the throat chakra is about sharing, and is where we act out of unconditional love, like I mentioned, out of our throat and out of our arms. So it's just amazing how this is what meets this need. This is what meets this need. This is what meets this need too. And then ultimately, of course, we end up in the center with the heart chakra, which is where we experience and we remember who we really are. We experience that unconditional love, and we see that balance between the human experience and the spiritual experience. So that is kind of just a quick rundown on those. And so I wanted to share that piece with everyone. And of course, when any of these individual chakras are out of balance, that's when we have a focus in our life of trying to kind of work through whatever issue is impacting us in those. And on each one of the sides of these is a meditation that talks about, I call them the I am love meditations. And for like these ones, it's I am unconditionally loved, by the creator of all things. And then we move into realizing we are made of unconditional love. So then that becomes I am unconditional love. And then as we fill up with that love, then it starts flowing out to the world, which for these, it's I unconditionally love the world. And that makes sense with our actions because we're unconditionally loving the world. And then when we meet in here, we realize with all that love that flowed into us, filled us up, and flowed out to the world, suddenly we get hit with this like wave of unconditional love from outside of us. And that's when we realize the world is actually made of unconditional love, just like we are. And I will also have those links to those meditations in the description box below if you want to check those individually out. I get a little more deeper into those there. So when we're able to balance all these chakras and we have this, flow going on, then that unconditional love is also flowing, into our relationships, into, not only our relationships with others, but our relationship with ourselves. And then also that unconditional love is flowing out of our actions. So you can tell when your chakras are balanced because you're giving without expectations. You're not attaching your worth to outcomes. You're not judging yourself or you're not judging others. And we find ourselves, instead of being distracted into, past judgments or future fears of outcomes, we find that we're just sitting in this unconditional love and we're being right here, right now. So what I've been kind of guided to do is I'm going to provide a quick pick a card reading for each of the 7 chakras. So in a moment, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of put up a picture of the chakras, and whatever color or colors jump out to you or you're drawn to, then I encourage you to look at that reading or those readings. And I'll have timestamps below for each of the 7 readings as well. So I will go ahead and put up the picture now. And I'll go ahead and start with the red root chakra first. All right. What I've been kind of guided to do is I'm going to pick and shuffle the cards and put them all out for each one of the chakras here. And I will have the timestamp down below, for each. So if you don't want to watch the cards being put out, you can go ahead and jump to those. But those of you who are interested to see, how that works and to see them actually be done, I'm going to have it continuously go to where I'm not going to stop the camera at all. So you can see that these came out the way they were meant to. All right. So as I shuffle the cards, I'm just going to thank the Creator for its love for us, for their love for us. And we invite the Creator to be here with us, bringing the messages that are intended for each individual that's watching this. And we invite all our angels and our guides and our loved ones who have passed away, our ancestors, all those unconditionally loving beings that are on the other side. Just you're welcome to help bring through the love messages that we need to hear, and not really need to hear, but which are the best for us for our journey at this time in our lives. Whenever you come across this reading, it's always timeless. Of course, there's no time on the other side. All right. So let's just shuffle these up here. Okay, so for the root chakra, just going to see which ones jump out to us here. All right, here we go. Okay, it's going to be and I'm also going to pick, this is the actual deck, a smaller version of the deck I'm working on with the creator. This deck here is the Light Sears Tarot, in case you're interested. I'll have these linked down below too, so you don't have to write that down or anything. They'll be in the description box. This oracle deck I'm working on with the creator, of course, it's not available yet to the public, so, but if you're interested in these, they're a pretty cool deck as well. Okay, one more time here. There we go. Go ahead and put those out there. I need 4 more. Okay, these 2 are sticking out. And 2 more. Okay, we just need 1 more, and then we'll start with the root chakra. Okay, make the last one really obvious for us, if you would, please. Whoa, okay. So I'm going to let that one land where it was, and then this one also gets 2. All right, so we'll go ahead and jump into the root chakra. So for the red, what this one is coming up here, this is the worry card. And what this represents is, like it mentions here, let go of outcomes is how we solve that fear and transform it into love, joy, and peace. But where worry comes in is, pictures here like, we're scared of what could happen, and so we become so super concerned with safe. It's almost like, you ever watch those movies where a mother's overly concerned, and so they dress up their child in, pretty much almost all this, protective football gear so that they don't get hurt at all. But what, the creator gives us is this trust that everything is unfolding for a reason, and that, as I was mentioning before, whatever happens in our life, we've asked for, and it's for our highest good. And no matter what happens, we get to choose what it means about us. So outcomes really don't matter, because regardless of whatever happens in our life, we have the choice of what that means about us, others, or the world. We're the ones that have that power. We have the free will. So no matter what experiences come through, what events come in our lives, or what circumstances unfold, we are the ones that get to choose what it all means. So I love this because, that is what a lot of the root chakra deals with, of course, is our fears. And it wants to make sure there's enough for tomorrow, or who am I going to be tomorrow when everything unfolds. And it really draws us into the future. And that's what our fear ego does. It'll try to distract us by pushing us into the past, or really what a lot of us these days are about tomorrow. When I have that thing, then I'm going to be fulfilled. But not until then, so I can't be happy today. Which what I love is when we let go of outcomes, we get to enjoy the moment. We get to be here in this moment. And then the card we have here is the Hermit. And what I love about this card is, so the message for the root chakra, individuals who chose the root chakra, is to turn inward And you'll see that the lamp is over here. Oops, over here, I'm sitting there. So, this is the path of life. This is the beginning of the path of life to go up there. But it's talking about looking inside to find your light. And that really is the whole journey of the root chakra too. And like I talked about before, the crown chakra is what solves our hunger for love and our hunger. But when we're looking outside of ourselves, we're not fulfilled. When we look inside ourselves, that's where we find the light, right? I always, talk about expectations equal disappointment. We have all these expectations on everything we're supposed to look at, all these things on the outside that are supposed to fill us up, but they don't. We get to a certain point and we're still not happy. And so we set another goal and another goal and another goal. And no matter how many times we meet that goal, we still feel empty. So all those disappointments are designed because the more we're disappointed, the more we turn inward because we get tired and exhausted from trying to find all those things in the outside world to fulfill us, right? And so that's the design. External things are unstable, right? People change or they pass away. Situations never stay the same. And things deteriorate or break or are stolen. So those things outside of us will always eventually disappoint us because they're unstable. They're not going to be the same and consistent like we're looking for. But the internal, that unconditional love that we find on the inside is what is stable and what we're really looking for. So I would say the message for the root chakra is to take time to get quiet, be alone, and look inside. Search inside, because that's where you'll find unconditional love of the Creator. Okay. All right. Well, that is the message for the root chakras, and I'm going to go ahead and move on to the sacral chakra, the orange one. So that is next. Right, if you chose the orange chakra, then this is the message for you. And what I love is this is the heart chakra. So what the message is for you is to, it's funny because the meditation for this one is I am unconditional love. And this card, as you can see, is unconditional love. So for those that chose this orange navel sacral chakra, the message is to not look outside of yourself for that love that you're seeking for. And I know in these times there's just so much going on, and I really feel that you are to the point where you're ready for something new. And if you chose this sacral chakra, then you really hit a point in your life where you're realizing that you're seeing that every individual is going through a lot of the similar things, right? I mean, a lot of the world is, being impacted, by viruses and by economy. A lot of people in the United States, of course, are being impacted by political beliefs and things that are going on. So you have all these people that are going through a lot of the same type of circumstances, but you're starting to see like other people react differently to the same situation, and that you're seeing that you have that power to look and choose different decisions, right? You have a different emotions that you can choose. And even in a moment, you're going to realize that you can switch like that. You're going to be able to see the higher truths by questioning your smaller t truths. And what I love about this card here, you see on the bottom here, it talks about one of the things is free from the law. And what that does is I call it the law because it's like conditional love lies. You have all of these ways of your life that you've been taught this is how things should be. When this situation happens, this is how you're supposed to respond or react or, feel. But you're in this wonderful place where you can now see and decide that there's a different way that you can act upon that. You don't have to keep doing the same thing, because when you do what you always did, you're going to get what you always got. And I really feel like if you chose the orange chakra, that you have had it. You're just tired and exhausted from feeling the same way you have been, and you're ready for a change. And because this also has to do with relationships, I really feel that this has to do with how you're interacting with others more one-on-one, and that even if you've been with someone or been having a certain type of relationship for a long time, you get to decide if that's something you want to continue to have or not. And if you don't want that anymore, you don't want things to stay the same the way they are now, you get to have that conversation, and you can share your feelings. And, however the other person reacts or wants to respond is up to them. You don't have any control over that. Now, you don't have to be, I always say, you don't have to be a douche about it. If you approach it with love in your heart, with unconditional love, going, this is where I am, this is what's going on, what do you think we can do about this? And if the person says, no, tough, I don't want to change, I like it the way it is, but you're not happy with it, you don't have to stay in it. And the other card, yep, here you go. So here's the Chariot. And this is a wonderful card because it's about making the choice. You have two horses here. You have the dark horse and you have the light horse, and you get to make a conscious choice on what you want to do. There's other cards, within this deck that talk about choices, but with this one, this is where this person is making standing up and making the choice that they want. So just perfect affirmation for that is, you're the one steering your cart. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. You get to choose what you want. And like I mentioned, you don't have to be mean about it, but in a loving way, you can part ways with someone if you don't want it, or if they're willing to work at it and change it, then hey, win-win. Then you get to do and try something new and, pursue what you want. So, all right. Well, that was for the orange chakra there. So, next, I'm going to go ahead and go on to the next one, which is the yellow chakra, which is the solar plexus. And you got guiding love, which this is so perfect for this as well, because this is about self-discovery and about understanding yourself more. And this guiding love means really two things. The one is that you do have this unconditional love that exists inside you. And if you get quiet enough and kind of lower your fears enough and just get into this place of peace, take a lot of deep breaths, calm down, get quiet, get away from everyone else's noise, you can find this guiding love within you. I always call it like the whispers of love. It will guide you. So if you have questions and want answers, this is inside you. It's your compass. It's your navigation. You can do that. The other thing with this, in addition to having that love inside you, is that because this is talking about actions as well and about what you want to do, I'm kind of feeling also that you're looking for direction on what you'd like to do with your life. You might be unemployed at the time, or you might be like tired of doing the job that you want to do, but you can be a guiding love and a guiding light for others. So a lot of times when I get this card, it is kind of pushing you in a direction of like life coaching, spiritual life coaching, helping others, whether maybe even if it's like nutritionist or fitness or any type of teaching type of job where you're not really like a teacher per se, but you're like a teacher's aide, or you're doing something that helps people along their path or along, a type of journey of some kind, where you're helping, like it says, guiding love, you're guiding them in the direction that would be best for them. And you might have a lot of experience in a certain field that, you no longer want to be the one that's, giving up all your time and energy for someone else's dream, but you want to live your own dream, and you want to apply all that knowledge to help people, but you want to kind of be your own boss type of feel to it. And then the card here, you have a Two of Pentacles, which this is all about the balancing between your dream and, like your dream up here, and kind of the reality of things. And it's about not being too dreamy where you're just thinking about what you want to do, but this is about the doing of it too. So if you have been having a dream that you want to head towards and something you want to do for yourself, this card is basically telling you, take a step every day and balance between, it's important to dream, because if you don't dream and you're just working all the time, then that just becomes work, right? So it's important to balance dreaming, but actually taking action too, even if it's doing like a vision board or just researching what you need to do to start a business. You're looking at, how do I register my business with the state, or what are the steps that I need to do to, make this happen, and just work on little pieces at a time. Don't look at the whole long list of things, but just start to make your list or make your vision board. However, you want to make a step every day, just one little small step towards it, and you'll go a long way. All right, well, that's your message for those that chose the yellow chakra, and now we're going to move into the green chakra. So for those that chose the heart chakra here, we've got the Mars card. So I'll show that up there. So, if any of you are an Aries or a Scorpio, because Mars does roll over those, and this is just a reinforcement that this is for you. Also, the dates of March 21st to April 19th, or October 23rd to November 21st, can really give you an idea of if you're looking at some sort of outcome of something happening, or if something happened in the past that happened during that time, just to kind of show you that there's some action that either needs to happen during those dates, or that happened during that time that you're kind of have feelings about. Because this is the heart chakra, this is about how you're feeling about that. And we talked about being free from the law. That's one of the items that's on the bottom of the card here. It's about, we're conditioned on how we're supposed to feel about something. And what I love on here, because it talks about action and movement, right? It's action and movement. So, whatever had happened, whatever action was taken during that time, which, around March 21st to April 19th of last year is when the proverbial poo-poo caca kind of hit the fan in a lot of the world. So, one of the messages I'm getting from here is how you have responded to that, since all that time, all the way up until, October, November, which also that is, I believe there was some sort of election or something during that time. So there's a lot of stuff that happened and a lot of feelings that you have around it. Now is the time that you get to choose, like it says on here, what you do and how, and where you might have, chosen to feel different ways during all of last year, which, it definitely was a challenge, and things can change moment to moment, right? So with this card coming up with this situation and within this chakra, is telling you that you can look at things differently now, and you don't have to continue to believe. I love, and I totally am spacing the name of where this came from, but it's about, one of the things that they talk about is living in like 10-second increments. You make a choice every 10 seconds, that you don't have to keep making the same choice you always did. Action and movement. You can choose to, move in a direction now, and in 10 seconds, if you choose to make a different decision, then that's okay. You don't judge yourself for the decisions that you made in the past, because you're making a new decision every 10 seconds on what you want to continue to do or how you want to change things to be different. So that's a big message that I'm getting for a lot of this heart chakra here, is there's all these emotions that have just been kind of building up within you, and it's okay to release those now and just say, those are the emotions of the past, but I have new emotions that I want to choose right now. Yep, and here's the strength card, which is beautiful, because this is, whatever lions that we meet upon our path, we get to either treat it as an enemy and attack each other, or you can choose to be at peace here. And what I love is, in the normal tarot of the strength card, it usually has, this feminine character just calmly petting and calming down the lion. And what I love about that is it shows you your strength. It doesn't have to be a physical show of strength, but it's really showing you your inner strength. And you can see around her neck there is that red heart amulet there, which is perfect for the heart chakra, right? I love it. So the message for this is, turn to your unconditionally loving heart, and you'll just see that there's different choices that you can make for whatever you were going through, and again, letting the past go and just embracing that peaceful little lamb. You can be at peace, and you can let the old emotions and old decisions go. All right. Well, that is the message for you that chose the heart chakra. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the throat chakra next. And you got 2 cards on here. So this one here is about grief. And I love the little blue. You can see that it says, not gone, just not here. So this message is for those of you who, have had a loss of someone in your life, whether it's a family member or, a significant other, a spouse, a child, friends. And it's just a message, which is interesting, because this is about, communication, that those that have passed on the other side just want to let you know that you're not alone. And though the body is not here, that they have never left your side. They're always there. And even though you might be, over here looking out and missing them, they're over here going, hello, I'm here. Just, if you get quiet and you reach out to me, I'm talking to you, I'm giving you signs all over the place. You just have to open up and listen to it, because I am talking to you, whether it's feathers or pennies or butterflies or flickering lights or fire alarms going off or, music that pops into the radio. Or if you have a memory that out of the blue, you don't know why you're thinking of this memory, it just kind of almost gets activated out of nowhere. That's them tapping on your brain going, remember me, I'm here. And they want you just to know that they're here. They're not gone. Yep. And then despair. So in addition to them letting you know that they're here, they're also letting you know that when you're feeling so low and you're feeling so down, just realize that, as it says in here, you can find the door. The prison that you have yourself in is actually happening inside you, you know. Regardless if we think that outside circumstances are what making us feel imprisoned, we are the only ones that imprison ourselves. Like I sometimes say, you know, people in prison, actual prison, a lot of them are freer than people who are outside of, you know, physical jail cells, because we have ourselves trapped into so many expectations and judging ourselves for so many things. Whereas people that, you know, sometimes are in actual jail have had time to think about and have had, you know, counseling available, have really been able to free themselves to where they don't feel, even though they're physically confined, they don't feel like they're, you know, spiritually or emotionally confined. So the message for this card, in addition to, you know, the grief here, is whatever is making you feel in despair, check those bars that you have put around yourself and just question, why do I believe that? Why, you know, with this situation, why does that have to mean that? Can it mean something different? And just be open to that. Allow answers to come. Dig in a little bit. Get to the root of why you have that belief about those things. Like, you know, no matter how many times I was cheated on or betrayed or treated poorly by, you know, my significant others in the past, eventually I discovered that, you know, my belief that when those things happen, that's how I'm supposed to feel. When I look back, I saw that they were always showing me how I felt about myself until I saw it. So their purpose in my life was to keep showing me how I felt about myself, keep telling me what I wanted to hear until I heard it. And then once I discovered that, and I'm like, I don't have to believe that, you know, someone cheating on me or someone supposedly treating me poorly, that has anything to do about my worth. And I realized, you know, their actions mean, you know, about them. That doesn't mean anything about me. That just shows me how they feel about themselves as well, right? Because I can't make them happy until they're choosing to be happy. I can't make anyone happy, right? No one can make me happy until I choose to be happy. So that's the message that comes with that on there. And I love this, the Empress. So this card represents, I mean, this is like Mother Nature, you know, the feminine side, the Divine Mother. And it also represents that we birth what we want to have happen in our lives. So no matter what is happening in our life, we have invited it there. This is our world that we're birthing, that we're creating. And the message that comes with this too is that whatever we focus on is what grows. Whatever we nourish is what grows. So if we're in despair and we're feeling like our lives are falling down around us, one of the biggest things you can do to transform that is to start to look around and focus on what you're grateful for. And just really start looking at that instead of looking at the lack in your life or looking at what's going wrong in your life. And I understand, I've been there. One of the biggest things that helped transform my life is that I started a 30-day gratitude journal, and every day I wrote something I was thankful for and tried not to repeat it. I just love that after those 30 days that I continued it for 4 to 5 months. And it's just life-changing. I didn't repeat anything that I'd written previously. So it just shows you there's so much that we can be grateful for. All right, if that you chose the throat chakra, then that is the ending of your reading there. Now we're going to go on to the third eye chakra. Okay, and the card you got here is the new moon, which is, so the message for this, especially since this is transforming your truth, is it's a wonderful time for starting new things. The whole cycles of the moon is the new moon. We can set intentions. You can actually make 10 wishes, I would say within 8 hours of the new moon when it starts, and just see what you want to grow. What seeds do you want to have? What do you want to plant, etc. So this whole cycle of the moon is, you plant seeds, they grow, you get to the full moon, and then you start to look at what you want to let go and what you want to change, and you hit a new moon, and you plant new things, make new changes, plant new seeds, and have things grow. And that's the whole cycle of the moon is, it's that whole kind of infinity where we're constantly in this ebb and flow of the light coming, the light going, the light coming, the light going. And so it brings, a couple messages with that is, if you don't like things the way they are, just give it a minute, because things will change, because everything's constantly changing, right? Things are constantly moving. Nothing ever stays the same. And the other one is that it's a wonderful opportunity for new beginnings for you, whether it's new attitudes about things, discovering new truths, questioning our small t truths, and searching for those capital T truths, those things that are within your heart and not within your, fear, ego, mind of all those conditions, but finding out what your capital T truths are, in your heart. So I really feel that this is that strong message for you, because I mentioned that, when we start to question and look at the world, it talks in here about understanding that the actors act for a reason, that these characters around us are doing things on purpose for us. And when things come to shake our foundations, it's because we've asked them to wake us up and to shake our foundations so that we can start to see that there's other things to look at. There's other, deeper truths to what's happening, not just what we've been taught that things are supposed to mean, but that there's things that are higher to that. And then your other card is the moon. So this is about digging into the subconscious. This is all the, conscious surface here. And again, you have like the white and the dark here, which shows that there's both things that we're conscious of and things that we're not aware of that is in our unconscious here. And what I love is that a lot of our dreams and like readings and different things like that all deals with our subconscious, what we're not seeing with our eyes. And so when this card comes up, it's about the unknown, digging into those new truths, digging into those unknown things. And then you have the full moon here. So you've got the new moon and the full moon. So I really feel the message is, it's time to dig into the unknown. Bring the unconscious into the conscious. All right, and that is the quick and down low one for the third eye chakra there. There's not anything else that they're wanting to bring through for that. So we'll move on to the crown chakra. And you got 2 cards for the crown chakra. I love this, the power of no. So what's wonderful with this is that it's like one of our superpowers. We fear saying no because we're fear getting rejected by other people if we don't go along with what they want, or we feel that they'll get upset, they'll bully us, or, something along those lines, and so we actually get manipulated into doing so much of what we want to do, and we just say yes to things we don't want to. And then everyone else ends up being miserable. It's like someone wants you to go along somewhere and you don't want to, but you force yourself. A lot of times you're not having fun, and then the other people are going, wow, why are they being so down? And they should have just stayed home, and everyone would have been much happier, right? So this gives you permission to start saying no, whether it's in your just in your mind at first. Then you start to experiment saying no out loud. And it's life-changing. And, as I've mentioned in some other readings, you don't have to be a douche about it when you say no. You can just say, no, I'm just not feeling up to it this time, but thank you. And if they get upset, you can't help that. You can't ever make anyone else happy. They could have as easily made a choice to say, I understand, enjoy yourself, maybe next time, and go on and have fun and do whatever they were going to do. And you get to, not feel bad about it, So, and then, yep. And this is actually one of the separator cards in the deck that I'm creating with the creator. And this all talks about, what is sparking your emotional fear. And so that invitation is, why are you afraid to say no? Really get to understand and get into the root of, what am I afraid of when I say no? Am I afraid that they're going to reject me and not be around me? Well, then, wait a minute. Why do I want to hang around people that are going to reject me if I don't do what they want to do? There's billions of people in the world. I'll find other friends and other people to hang around with. Oh, what if I'll never be loved again? That's what I used to think after my first breakup. But I learned after the second and the third and the fourth and the fifth that I would always find love again, sometimes whether I wanted to or not. So, get to the root. Understand what you are fearing. What are you fearing about saying no? And then your last card here is the Three of Swords. And maybe you're afraid of heartbreak because this is what this represents. And when I read this card, this is about expectations. Expectations equal disappointment. Expectations equal heartbreak. And we're kind of taught that your heart can be broken. I mean, look at all that damage to that heart. But that's not the heart. That's just the representation of what we were told can be done to our heart. And what I love about this too is you can see on her arm there, she actually has a tattoo of the three swords there, which are the ones that pierce the heart. And so the message that comes with this for me when I read this is, when we make the pain part of ourselves and we take it on as part of our identity, maybe sometimes we don't want to let it go because we don't know who we would be without our pain, who would be without our suffering. And maybe we like the attention we get from, suffering and being in pain, because a lot of people don't want to feel that either. So they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. And, let's check you out. Let's go do something for you to make you feel better. We like that attention, right? But with this card, along with this power of no, it's asking you to question your pain, question your suffering, question that belief that, can my heart be broken? Can it really? Or is that something that I've been taught? All right. Well, I know these were quick, kind of down and dirty, quick readings here for you, but hopefully it brought a little bit of peace or clarity or some questions, or at least entertained you for a little bit here. But if it did, I would definitely love, and I definitely appreciate any support you give me and my channel. And if you give me a little like there, I always appreciate that. As well as if you click on the little icon on the bottom to join the channel, and click the little icon, the little arm icon, then you'll get notified of any additional videos that I put out there. But everything I do with all this is to help us remember who we really are, these powerful, supernatural, eternal spirit beings made of unconditional love, and to remind us of our connection, that deep connection we have with the creator of all things that is always unconditionally loving us, always wanting to communicate with us, always is, whether we hear it or not, but coming to that calm place in our heart to where we can listen. Because in that space, There are whispers of love always telling us that we are loved beyond measure. So I wish you all the joy, the love, and the peace that you can handle. And I love you very much. You take care.